we've just seen a golden cross on Bitcoin that could have implications of taking Bitcoin way higher. But as always, there are nuances that we need to go over. So in this video, we're going to be covering all of that. And I want to start off by discussing with you the more short-term price action before we get on over to that. And one of the key developments that we've actually seen in the market right here, which I think is well worth paying attention to, is just the triangle that we've actually started to develop right here. If we actually take a look at some of the key trend lines that we can draw across this, across our resistance and support, we have clearly formed some sort of asymmetrical triangle right here, which is really interesting because, you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it just with these yellow lines and you can kind of say, look, we're trading within this sideways range. This is the top, this is the bottom. We're just kind of ranging, hit the highs, hit the lows, hit the highs. Now we're in the midpoint right now before potentially hitting the lows, which is absolutely great. I mean, as far as trading opportunities goes and stuff like that, that is great. That's really healthy. That gives us a lot of opportunities to trade in this market. And you already know, just how much you can take advantage of that stuff because we've been discussing with you guys, just the sheer amount of bonuses that these exchanges I'm working with are giving you right now, which we will get to in just a little bit. But definitely check them out. CoinW and BingX, both not requiring KYC, so great options as well for those of you that are a little bit more privacy minded. Obviously, please keep in mind country restrictions. You won't be able to use them if they're illegal in your country, but what's really, really cool here is that we're now getting a second additional kind of form of confirmation that this market is in continuation mode. It's in consolidation mode. And that's really good news because what we know very clearly is that we are in an uptrend. Okay, what we know is that within this uptrend, we're basically just pausing before getting ready for the next legs up. And these pauses come in different shapes and sizes. For example, this size of this pause right here lasted about 3.5 days. This pause right here, a very, very small one, lasted, just a matter of hours. Take a look at this. We moved up, we paused a little bit, and then we moved up again. So, we form these on different time frames. We form them, sometimes a little bit steeper, sometimes much more steeper, sometimes much bigger, and all of them, basically still more or less point in the upward direction. So that is a very, very good sign. That is definitely an indication that things are going in our favor, that things are actually going the way we want to see them go, because we're now showing an additional kind of sign of confirmation that we are potentially in a good place in the market. And at the very same time, if we look at the key indicators that I like to use for support, they are continuing to inch higher a little bit. Now, not amazingly, we're still far away from them. Honestly, unfortunately, we're going to have to collapse below some of these areas of support to even see them. That includes the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. The 1-hour Ichimoku cloud we have already used up. We're now in the next one, but I'm just not, I'm not going to put much faith in this anymore. This is a very thin cloud on a very small time frame. So, at some point, you just got to accept that this is not useful anymore. On the daily time frame, our support sits down at the $30,000 range, which is beautiful support for Bitcoin, just given the huge resistance that it found itself seeing at this price area throughout the course of this year. But again, that's still far away, so we don't really want to look at that right now. And so, we look at some more aggressive indicators like the EMA ribbon. And again, we're still far away from them, which still paints the overall image for Bitcoin right now, which is unfortunately that when you rise up too quickly, you're going to have a bit of a hard time continuing that trend, and for example, if Bitcoin were to move up from here, I mean, look at the distance that Bitcoin has between the EMA ribbon and the actual price chart. It's just absolutely massive. Bitcoin is so far away from the actual, support that it has on this chart on any time frame bigger than the 1 hour, basically more or less, and if we did end up making that next move up already, assuming that was actually going to come, because of course nothing is guaranteed, then we would be that bit further, that mile further, those 10 miles further away from our support, which all in all is just going to make this whole thing more unsustainable. So I know that these things are exciting. I know that they're fun to think about and talk about, but I do want you to keep in mind, what is useful for this market, what is actually going to keep us in the game. I think these are really, really, really important things to be keeping in mind. Now, there are a couple of things that are really interesting that I want to highlight to you before we get onto that golden cross, because it does have huge implications. I actually just want to give a quick shout out to, where is it? One second, let me just go back. To CryptoCon right here on Twitter for making a beautiful chart about this. We're going to talk about this with you guys in just a little bit, so definitely do smash up that like button if you are excited. But before we get onto that, I want to show you a couple other things. And one of the things I want to show you right here is the Google search trends for Bitcoin. Oh, fuck's sakes, this doesn't work. But just an interesting bit of data. I can't show it to you right now, which is that, we are seeing a little bit of a surge for interest in Bitcoin right now, which is absolutely fantastic. Definitely a good sign showing us that, we're not just seeing upward price action for Bitcoin, but this is also coupled with some, genuine interest in the market, which is absolutely great. And it's kind of backed up a little bit with some of the other things that we're seeing across whale alerts. This is something that we discuss about a little bit on this YouTube channel. It's definitely not the most reliable source of information, but if you do pay attention to this, a lot of the time you will see that there is something here. And, what I want to highlight to your attention here now is that we've got, for example, $76 million in USDT transferred from an unknown wallet into Binance. And that's really important because what can you do with USDT? If you've got USDT on an exchange, you can't sell crypto with that. You can't, dump Bitcoin with USDT. Actually, you can. You can do a leverage position. But oftentimes the way we, think about this is that, if you've got USDT and you're putting it on an exchange, for example, you're gonna be putting that on an exchange to buy crypto. And that doesn't mean that that's actually what's going to happen. This could be any number of things going on. This could be internal transfers. This could be fucking staff or, subsidiary companies or whatever. It could be 10 million little things, or it could be actual genuine traders that are depositing on the exchanges. And it's why I don't really like looking into this, but it's not just this, guys. This is one example right here, but, here's another, interesting screenshot. And it's just across the board. Typically when you see things like this next screenshot I'm going to show you, this is where you actually start to see that, not this one right here, that you actually start to see, some altcoins being deposited, for example, which can be an indication that there's going to be some selling pressure hitting the market as well. If you deposit altcoins, well, yeah, with an altcoin, you can really only sell it and therefore kind of crash the market. So it's very interesting. All of this is happening, right now, basically, very, very recently. So there is definitely something here that might be worth paying attention to. And that's something that I want to highlight to you guys, and just kind of bring to your attention. It's all in these in these recent moments in the market. So, potentially something brewing here. And at the very same time, Bitcoin has just hit 15 years old. If we look at Bitcoin's white paper was made on October 31st back in 2008. So happy birthday to all of us, in a sense. And more importantly, happy birthday to Bitcoin itself. This was the philosophical inception of Bitcoin today. So 15 years, absolutely stunning. Great work here that have been achieved in 15 years. Not really related to the price at all, but I love Bitcoin. I love it with my heart, with passion. It doesn't mean that I'm going to give you biased technical analysis in any way that would harm myself or you. I'm still going to be realistic, even if I think Bitcoin will go down. But I love Bitcoin. It's got a special place in my heart, and it's now 15 years old, according to its kind of philosophical inception. So that is absolutely beautiful. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the golden cross. This is very, very interesting. There are a couple different ways you can look at these golden crosses. They're measured in different ways, but the most common is going to be with the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. And we can actually see that right here. This actually happened a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, depending on your time zone. We did see that golden cross on Bitcoin back here. And put simply, that is where, our 50-day moving average crosses above our 200-day moving average. So we can see that nice and plainly over here. Absolutely beautiful, very much telling us that, we are looking at, the short-term momentum, starting to pick up against the longer-term momentum. And it's worth noting that we had this before already. This already happened earlier this year. Here was the last time that this actually happened. We formed our golden cross right here, and that led directly into a dump, and then a pump, and then a bigger dump, and then we actually started to see some really nice price action afterwards. So worth noting, and this is actually highlighted pretty well on this guy's chart, that it doesn't necessarily immediately result in nice big price moves. We're seeing, for example, a minus 25% move followed by 22,000. We're seeing a minus 36% move and then nothing good. And then the next time a 6,500% move, minus 10, and then we double, minus 60, and that's it. These golden crosses are not foolproof. They're honestly not the best indicators that you can find in the market. And it's, again, one of the reasons that I personally don't focus on them too much. When I'm looking at indicators, when I'm looking at big crosses and stuff like that, they're only important to me if they have a really high hit rate. If they don't, then you could definitely argue that they're kind of just fun to talk about, but not necessarily useful to make money. And it's up to you to decide which camp that they go in. I think there's definitely something here. What I don't do is I don't say, okay, we got a golden cross, I'm going to buy now. I'm not that simple-minded, not even close. But what I do pay attention to is simply, look, I can tell with my eyes that this market clearly has some momentum right now. It's just broken above $30,000. It didn't break up slowly at all. It was a very, very quick move. There's clearly some momentum here. We've We've seen it with the RSI. I was showing you that in the most recent YouTube video. I don't know if that's any of these charts that I've got on screen right here, but you know, we were talking about the RSI, and you know, to me that is very, very important as a sign of, you know, kind of local momentum, you know, a display of momentum today versus momentum over the last period, for example. So you know, very clearly you can see that with your eyes, but it's another thing to also see it confirmed with, you know, just pure numbers. I mean, you know, you can feel it, you can see it, you can say it, but now the chart is telling you the same thing too on paper, and you know, it's just an additional confirmation. That's something which I think is really useful. That's something which I definitely like to pay attention to, and it's also not surprising. I think that it's the right time to be getting something like this. Now, again, we look at how this has played out for Bitcoin in history, and a lot of the times we'd see a little bit of a drop followed by the big move. We'd see a little bit of a drop followed by the big move, a little bit of a drop followed by the big move. Over here, minus 7% plus the 38, exactly what I just showed you a couple of minutes ago. Again, shout out to CryptoCon right here for posting this brilliant tweet. You know, and so that's what we saw last time. And now that we've gotten the same golden cross, if we're going to be looking at a similar kind of situation developing in this market, then we do have to potentially expect a drop down in the market. And again, Bitcoin's in a really good position to pull that off right now. You know, I mean, one of the great things that Bitcoin has done is it stayed above our resistance, you know, at $30,000 now for a decent amount of time. I mean, you know, if we count the first candle right up until today, you know, we have managed to spend an entire 8-9 days up here, which is really good. I mean, you know, if you're talking about the idea of Bitcoin deviating and, you know, you're moving up here and then moving back down with some kind of permanent energy, you wouldn't expect Bitcoin to last 8-9 days up here over a week. You know, if it's going to be a fake out, if it's going to be a deviation, then we give it 1 day, you know, maybe 2, 3, 4 days max, 7 fucking days if you're being generous. But realistically, you know, these deviations, if they're going to happen, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna play out a little bit faster than this. Now, they don't have to. I want to make this very, very clear to you. We've had deviations that have taken a very long time. Here's a great example. Actually, fucking every single all-time high that we set was a great example back in 2021. My God, it was something else back in 2021. You know, and here's an example of a deviation. We had our kind of resistance up over here, and we spent an entire, how many days was this? Let me just count this. For some reason, I can't do this right here. It was more or less the same period of time, about 7-8 days that Bitcoin spent above the resistance level. So, you know, we definitely form deviations that take a bit of time. Here's another example. Bitcoin had this beautiful big deviation right here. And this one lasted about 10 days. So, you know, I mean, there's no set, you know, parameter here. You know, these can be longer, these can be shorter. But one thing that's clear is that a lot of the time when you do form these deviations, like this deviation right here, you know, they are going to play out a little bit faster, you know. So this one completely played out within 6-7 days, you know, and like I said, there's no hard rules on this. A lot of the time they're actually going to play out on the same day, you know. A lot of the time, look at this, on the same day. So you know, look at this, another one on, you know, on the same day, if not, call it 3-4 days. Really doesn't take that long. Same day, this wick right here. Most of them play out very, very quickly. The longer they take to, you know, kind of deviate, the less likely they are to deviate in my experience. So, you know, now, even though Bitcoin still looks like it probably does need to, you know, it just looks a little bit overextended, and that's going to be fine. That's going to go away if Bitcoin continues to hold this ground very steady, which, to be honest, it has been doing incredibly well so far. You know, but right now, until that, you know, moment in the future comes, which, you know, honestly could take another couple of weeks, you know, Bitcoin still kind of potentially does need to come down and capture some support. It's going to be in a really good position to, you know, actually use that support, in my opinion. You know, one of the things that I want to do, for example, is go long off the $30,000 level here, because I think that there are some beautiful opportunities to make money. But obviously there's the risk that Bitcoin deviates below. And this is something that I'm staying very well aware of. But to me, that risk is going to go down. The risk of, you know, that kind of position being bad is going to go down the more that Bitcoin kind of stays above, because, you know, that tells me that actually we've had the strength here, you know, and so, you know, if we do end up coming back down, you know, we're still going to have that, you know, residing strength that we've built over the last couple of weeks in this market. So I think that that could be a factor that is worth considering. You know, obviously nothing is guaranteed here, but that is the way I'm seeing it. Obviously, the risk of a deviation doesn't actually even have to be a bad thing, because that's where a lot of opportunities to make money can come in. You know, I entered my big Bitcoin trade, down here. And this was on a deviation. Now, granted, it was on the way back up because I was waiting for a little bit more confirmation, but it was still absolutely brilliant, and so deviations are where you can make a lot of money. And of course, for me, I've just got to continue to watch this to really identify, where that risk is. And when I feel like the risk is going to be a little bit lower, that's where I'm actually going to be looking to enter those trades. And again, I inform all VIP members about my trades in addition to so many other things. It's a very, very comprehensive package that you get. You can follow these steps on screen to get yourself inside, and it is 50% off right now. Also, all of my trades are primarily going to be taking place on Bybit. You can join it by following this link in the description down below. They're going to give you up to $30,000 in completely free trading bonuses, meaning free money that you can trade with, and you can trade shit coins for free. No spot trading fees. So very, very cool indeed. CoinW has launched another bonus, by the way. When you deposit $100 or more and you make one trade, I don't care how big that trade is, call it $1, fucking half a dollar trade, doesn't matter. When you make one trade and you've deposited $100, they're going to give you another $100 for free to trade with. So, with Bybit, to get this 30K, you've got to trade with a lot of money. You've got to deposit a lot of money. With CoinW, not the case. With CoinW, they're literally going to double your trading account just when you deposit $100. That's going to happen within 24 hours. So you're actually going to get 150 because you get $50 just for free for just opening a futures account. No deposit required. You just get free fucking money to trade with. Super, super cool. But basically they're going to more than double your trading capital if you have a spare kind of $100 laying around and you want to check out this exchange. They're based here in Dubai, I believe Hong Kong as well. I've met the team, super cool bunch of people. So definitely do check them out. Also a no KYC exchange, so that's very cool. But please bear in mind that if it's not legal in your country, you still can't use any of these exchanges. So super cool there. Hope you guys are going to be taking advantage of them. You really should have taken advantage of these offers way back before. Obviously, now is the time that you would already have these kind of bonuses locked and loaded, ready to go. But better late than never. If you're late to the party, obviously, a lot of you guys have taken advantage of this. By the way, we've seen a ridiculous number of people checking out this offer on CoinW. I mean, fair enough. I mean, it's fucking free money. You don't have to do anything for it. Barely even lift a finger, and you just get free money in your account. That's not normal. So if you do like that kind of thing, then definitely do check that out. And then back to the market here, the only other thing that I did want to highlight to you is that, you could potentially make an argument that Bitcoin is facing some sort of a descending triangle right now on the very, very short-term chart. Let me just show that to you very quickly right here. So you could potentially say that Bitcoin is kind of poised to drop down to this kind of, mid to high $33,000 level. That's basically going to put Bitcoin, back at this yellow line. If we do end up collapsing below this yellow line here, that's exactly what we knew. I mean, this is the midpoint. If we lose the midpoint, we're probably back down here. Pretty good level to consider buying Bitcoin, to be honest. Maybe not even here, maybe even lower, because we do tend to wick a little bit below that. So I would potentially be interested in, I don't know, maybe just dragging this line a little bit lower and perhaps a stop loss down over here, or even a touch lower, and then we're gonna start to see some pretty decent risk management here. I mean, it's not even 1% away. I could comfortably do 10x leverage or more, 15x comfortably, to be honest, and there's pretty decent upside. Just to get up to these next areas of resistance. The question really is, do you think that this area of support will hold? And I don't know. I don't think it's the strongest area of support that Bitcoin has. But one thing that's clear to me is that Bitcoin does like staying up in this range. One thing that's clear to me is that even if we do drop down a little bit more, we're only going to meet our support, deeper into the 4-hour EMA ribbon here. So, how worried would I be? Not that worried. I mean, if we lose these wicks, if we lose this kind of 33.4 level, basically where my line was originally, that's where I'm going to be a little bit more worried. My line was back here originally. If we kind of drop below this, or even a little bit lower, like I said, basically if we lose 33, if we lose 33.2, that's where, the drop is going to get a little bit steeper. We're going to have another couple percentage points at least that we need to fall down, by the way I see things, until we can capture some more support. But really, until that happens, this looks like a pretty decent, kind of range for a little trade, nothing big. I mean, let's say the entry is going to be around kind of 33.5. That's still, 15x leverage. That's still an easy 2% move. That's a 30% profit, So again, you're getting a bunch of free money on these exchanges. I'm not saying to trade this kind of thing. It's probably not even something that I would trade, but I'm just going to sit with that and think about it. What's really cool to know is that it almost doesn't matter what you decide to do. They're just giving you free money across the board. So you've got options. You've got options on where you deploy these capital, this capital that these exchanges are giving you, and it doesn't matter because if you don't make money, then no biggie, and if you do, then you just withdraw it and it's yours. Go buy a Lambo, do whatever you like. Start a $50 trading competition, give it to your fucking son. Doesn't matter. There are options, and that is really cool. And of course, like I said, CoinW is going to double your trading capital if you deposit $100 and just open one trade on futures. So very, very cool. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this one. You know exactly what to do. Hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.